There's so many angles in business. It's not just about the install. There's business processes. The install is important, but there's how to manage a staff. I mean, what have we been talking about all morning? He jumped in a truck with me. We were on a job on a commercial roof at 7 a.m. I don't know, 4-story, 3-story building or something. We were up there, crack of dawn, ice all over the roof. One of us could have easily slipped and fell off that roof. But all morning we've been talking about staffing, processes. There's so many elements. I laugh when someone hears the term gutter school, which is one of our brands, and they're like, well, you don't teach installation. I'm like, well, we sure do. You haven't been paying attention. You just didn't look hard enough. But that's the tip of the iceberg, right? So, you ever see that infographic of the iceberg, and just the tip of the iceberg is sticking out of the water. And then you got this big monster chunk of ice that's under the ocean. And that's the rest of the business. Installation is just a cherry on top. If you can't run your business and you don't know how to, master all of these different facets of the business, and that's what me and you, I'm 21 years in. I took my licks for years and years and years, and you make mistakes and you learn the hard way. These days, you young guys, you have this cheat code, this ability to plug into programs that we're putting together. This guy's flying from Minnesota to shoot podcasts. I mean, just tune in and you could shave years off that learning curve.
It's because our internet's so slow in Minnesota.
You had to come here right for that high speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York has better internet, I guess. So.
But God bless. I mean, if I did it all over again, I started at 25. I think the average rain gutter contractor's age, would you say, is about 30. If I started all over again, man, you guys, you could ramp up fast. You just got to plug in. You have to pay. You got to pay the price. We're all plugging in, and it costs us money to put these programs together. So you pay those fees, and man, you get to hit that the left lane of the highway and take things really quick.
That's true. You hear every heavy hitter saying it too. You got to invest in education, whether it's Tommy Mello or it's another industry pioneer. The reality is, I mean, you've got to invest to fast forward your progress. What
do you think he's doing? This guy's flying the country.
Yep.
Do exactly that. And
100%.
Tommy Mello was the first guy's brain he picked. Mm-hmm. And now he's running around and jumping into shops to see what he could learn. What do you think about that, Corey?
Yeah, the industry is growing so fast right now. Like I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it, that people are like, oh, you don't teach people how to install gutters. But I mean, most of us that are out there are good installers already, right?
Exactly.
That's not the part that everybody needs help with. It's the lead generation. It's the sales staff. It's the, all of the back end stuff. Like right. I'm a gutter guy. I know how to hang gutters, but I had no clue how to do anything else. That's why you end up with friends that you have to learn from.
Me too.
Right?
Me too.
It's like you shouldn't have to teach the gutter installation side. Like that's how you can level up your staff, right? That's the second side of it. But I love traveling around, seeing how people are training, like Tommy's training facility that he's got set up, and it's
state of the art.
The facility isn't that it's so state of the art. It's what he's put into the people that are running the facility that makes it impressive, right? So like the training of the staff that's around is just incredible.
I'm halfway through his book. Trying to remember what's the title.
Elevate.
Mm-hmm. And it's all about his staff and his people and treating them right and putting together systems on how you could compensate them and take the high achievers and reward them.
Right.
It's the guys that do want to put out, they need to be rewarded. If you create that system, everything comes around full circle.
So true. Corey, you remember our wild ride to the Avalanche game, all of us?
Oh, it was so fun. That's where the Howie thing started.
That's it,
Just
man.
a random guy yelling, but like the connections that I've made with the GutterCon side of things, with going around seeing other business owners is just incredible. Like I don't even care about the events I go to so much as the people I get to meet whenever I'm at them. So
How many
lifelong
stops
friends.
have you made? How many jump arounds are you doing? How many pairs have you popped in?
I've probably been on 20, 30 shop tours, and I've been to events all over. The year COVID started, I think I might have been the super spreader because I was I was everywhere that year.
That was you, huh?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tricky year.
Yeah. I was in California. I made a stop in New York, so I might have brought it to you.
Oh,
I was
really?
just in the airport.
I'll blame you.
I was in Chicago, so yeah, it's
I got it. I didn't get it too bad. Couple days in bed.
yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, like, if you're not traveling around trying to learn, like, you're gonna go backwards, So
Do you feel like you're getting a ton out of that?
I get a ton out of every trip, and it takes me a little while to like get out of my own headspace. And my buddy Jimmy Fazekas, he's like, one of these days I'm gonna bring value to you.
What's up, Jimmy?
And I'm like, you've given me so much value. Like, that guy's got a heart of gold.
He does. He's a gem.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Sweet Southern boy.
Yeah. I can't decide if he actually has a Southern drawl or if he's just using that to charm the pants off of us. But he's such a good guy. But I learned so much from everybody, and it doesn't have to always be about business. It can be about like the way you interact with people and just being a good person. And I love it. I wouldn't trade the connections I've made for anything.
You see, we're not talking about installation at all. Corey doesn't want to go downstairs and see how I use snips and how I cut a hand miter. He doesn't need to know.
It's because
assumed.
I'm better than you, and everybody knows that.
You guys don't want to see me.
Every gutter guy talks.
So exactly. So Corey, what do you just got in? I mean, you've been with me a few hours. You're here tonight. You're here tomorrow. We're going to go into the city. Let's create a little itinerary. What are you looking to get out of this visit? What are you trying to gain from Mr. Connecticut over here?
I want to see how you operate in a bigger city. I want to learn about your underground stuff a little bit. But I love being inside the head of another business owner. So it's, I like shadowing and getting to know what makes other people tick. I think it's actually like a coping mechanism for me. I want to know that I'm not on an island sometimes, I think. So.
No, there's a lot of us insane folks out there. John, I know you're one too.
That's powerful right there. Seriously.
Yeah,
Most
well,
people
the
don't-
pressure's on now, right? I have to deliver. I have to
Yeah, I mean, the best part is you will.
Yeah.
for
The,
sure.
the thing is, the reason that Corey and all of us kind of operate in we try our best to operate in a different frequency is because we're willing to be vulnerable. You're willing to step up and say, I don't know everything. And that's the name of this game. Doesn't matter what widget you're selling, whether it's marketing, gutters, it's anything. The reality is you have to be humble and you got to be a student of the game, always.
Absolutely. Well, so we connected with John and brought him in because, we intend to have thousands of users on Gutter app, and I think they need to know about John. If you don't already get with John and you don't get with Mr. Pipeline, get with him. Have a one-on-one. Take a look at what they have to offer. There's a lot of guys out there that do well by John and preach up and down about his services. But if you're not handling organic lead generation and you're just doing it on pay-per-click or some other paid method, you are seriously making a big mistake. How much do you think you do on organic results? Are your websites humming?
My websites are working fairly well. It was actually, as I'm sitting here thinking about this, John actually looked at my website, and it's the hard thing to find in a marketing company, in an SEO company, any kind of lead generation company is somebody that actually has like a good moral compass. So I think you can falsify results whenever it comes to
no doubt
the digital side of things. And, for John whenever him and I talked, he's like, let me just take a look and I'll give you my honest opinion if we should make some changes. And he's like, honestly, Corey, I think things are going pretty well for you with what you got going on. If you want to make a change, let me know. I could definitely definitely add some
That
value.
was nice of you, John. You didn't whack
That's the name
him.
of the game. That's the name of the game. You know what? Because what goes around comes around. I'll have Corey's business when the time is right. Right? Not because I strong armed him, but because he remembers how much I actually cared. You know.
And I knew years and years ago, probably about 5 years ago, that organic and content was everything. I mean, you guys see how much video content I do, but the writing and descriptives and page generation on our websites is endless. My ctgutter.com website has over 130, 140 pages right now. And I used outside services. This is long before I knew John. It got to a point where I knew how hypercritical it was for me to have it in-house that I literally brought it in-house. And instead of hiring a salesperson, I spent a salary on bringing in a web developer and a content creation person, somebody that was good with a camera, that could shoot photos and then build pages. And we just kept growing it and growing it and growing it. It was hypercritical. It's not for my strategy is not for the weak of heart, and it's not cheap. I basically just took money out of my wife and my kids' pockets and said, I'm reinvesting it in the business. This is critical. We need it. But it paid in dividends. And so for those guys who, don't go my route, it's expensive. For the bigger companies, maybe you could pull it off and bring somebody in-house. A content manager would be the title these days. But for the vast majority, you need a third-party outfit like John to take care of that for you. And John, and I've been with a lot of firms out there. You're a sweetheart. You're the guy. You're the real deal. What I have found, the biggest problem in your world is that your competitors, they're great in the beginning, right? They're shot out of a cannon month one. Mm-hmm. Maybe they hang in there month two, month three, but shortly thereafter, I mean, it's literally crickets. They maybe were giving you a monthly report on analytics on the site, and then all of a sudden it just stops. But they keep charging that credit card every month,
right.
And it's depressing. You're like, really? You're another one of those guys like that? How do you guys do it differently, John? How do you keep those customers so happy? What are you doing there?
So we over the last 12 years or whatnot, it's analyzing, like there is a honeymoon phase, right? And it does dip off. Our job is to make sure we keep that going as long as we can, and then to turn that into a real value driven relationship built on data and substance and how we can truly serve them. Now, most marketing companies, they're out there with the glitz and glamour, just out there, like you said, shooting them out of a cannon, getting great results, and then going ghost and whacking the credit card. You're right. I tell my team, we have a very in-depth account management team, and there's layers to the account management team. Like some people analyze the web traffic, some people are listening to calls, some people are front facing. Like we have a system for everybody, and everybody needs to play a role with the client and over deliver. So
what's important about the way John structures his business? He's not, again, that term agnostic. You could go to an outside firm that says, "Oh no, I can create content," but their writers don't know anything about the industry.
Right.
John said he's in 8 industries, which on the front side of this conversation sounded like a lot, but actually it's not. And his content creators, they know rain gutters. So they know how to create content that's going to hit, that is keyword specific. They know how to get eyeballs on the website. John's just doesn't have this tech business where these guys are one day writing for a dog walker.
Exactly.
And then, he's home improvement specific. So he's really hitting it on the head. The worst thing you could do is find somebody to do this content creation for you and build web pages. And then the work gets done. And then you go back to the website and you're horrified because you're like, oh my God, they're not even talking the right language. And nothing makes sense. This doesn't even make sense. This is horrible. Get it down. Take the page down right away. Mm-hmm. That happens so much in this industry. So we have a gem. We have a national treasure in our industry to have John just getting it and understanding
That melts my heart, Frank. I appreciate that, man.
well, I understand this stuff. So, I want to break it down.
You get it, man. And there's nothing crazier than when somebody signs up for marketing services and there's stock photos of gutters in Switzerland or Uganda.
The same photos you've seen a million times,
Exactly.
like the old guy laying on the edge of the roof line,
right.
and fall off.
Wearing a blue shirt. It's the same photo everybody's used.
Right. Side note: that guy's probably really rich from all the royalties.
Very wealthy from all the
right. He's probably sitting first class with you.
He might have been next to me. I think I recognized him.
Right. It's like there's a science, John. Right. It's like get away from what's that big stock imagery business?
Shutterstock.
iStock, Shutterstock,
all of them, Photostock, you name it.
Getty Images.
Yeah, Getty. Yep.
Getty. So like, get away from that, guys. You need actual photos. John knows how to get you to take photos on your actual job sites, in your actual uniforms, with your lettered vehicles, and then repurpose them and get them into the site and make it look real, not generic. You guys know, you see generic sites from 10 miles away. They look so canned and corny, and you see right through them.
And we live in an untrustworthy world, Mrs. Jones is scanning your website. It's not like it was back in the day when you opened a Yellow Pages and just did eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Now Mrs. Jones is looking and cross-referencing reviews and really understanding if you're a real business. And people always say, why should I invest in those uniforms? It's like it's much deeper than your technicians and your staff. You put it on your social. You can breed trust on your website. You get them on your Google My Business, Google Business Profile. You put them everywhere. Like that stuff instills trust, and trust equals more revenue.
So, John, what other campaigns do you manage for your clients? You're doing the website and lead generation, and you add pages monthly, and depends on how much they want to spend, they could get X amount of additional web pages. Yep. Are you managing pay-per-click? Are you managing? Tell us about what other things you guys, what kind of campaigns you could.
So our core services are lead generation. That the best way to generate leads in the gutter business online is Google ads and Facebook ads by far.
Yeah.
We, for the heavier hitters, we'll scale into Microsoft ads, and we'll play with Instagram, and we'll do TikTok. Like we offer a plethora of services, but for the people that are just in that south of $3 million range, Google ads, Facebook ads until the cows come home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey, how are you getting that done these days?
All the above. Yeah, so we have some in-house staff. I've got 3 on the marketing side that are in-house, and then we have an outside firm we work with as well. It's just like you were saying, it's so important to have like relevant content that is real. Otherwise, you're just a nobody. Totally. Anybody can start up out there. So like what John's doing and creating value. Like I was surprised at how much Facebook actually worked. A couple years ago, I would have told John he was full of it.
Well, yeah, I would have told you I was full of it. Years ago, it didn't work.
Yeah.
There's an art to make Facebook pop for you. A lot of people, you see a lot of these guys are like, Facebook's a giant waste of money. It's because you're not using the right people to dial it in. You have to know how to work the sticks.
You hit it on the head, Frank. You hit it on the head, dude. Yeah. Most people toss a lead source to the curb, but they don't test it enough.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of A/B testing. It takes a lot of time to dial it in and get it right. Thank you, sir. And it's an art, and leave it to the pros. Bring in the heavy hitters that know how to do this thing and not burn your money up in the fireplace. It's because it's very expensive.
Yep.
I came up the hard way before any of this, before we even came together as an industry. This is like, I keep saying the term renaissance. We're in this renaissance in the rain gutter industry. Look at this. We have this amazing community where we know each other from across the country. We see each other now at shows. We travel to visit each other. It's amazing. 21 years ago, it was just
5
test
years
and
ago.
measure. Even
right.
five.
It's
5 years, right.
We were just talking about it before. So I met Ben Conowitz at the first Gutter Con, and he's like, you know how much it means to me, how much it like melts my heart that I can go somewhere that guys know what I'm talking about. He's like, I would go on a cruise and people would be like, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm in construction. He's like, it's just way easier. Like sure. you tell people you're a gutter guy, they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So like in the last 5 years, it's just incredible how far it's come.
So true.
It's not even 20 years, it's 5 years.
It's happening fast too. It's like the blink of an eye, how fast this thing is evolving.
Right.
But it's amazing for the young guys. You guys just getting in, breaking through, transitioning from another industry, or a roofer that's trying to take on gutters. Like, it's all here for the taking. We're all trying to create that content and put it, word to paper, video. We're trying to create a knowledge base for you. Gutter School is that. Actually, there's been a huge push here on that. We're going to show Cory that in a little bit. But we have a ton of content, super fun. I'll pat myself on the back. I've been doing a phenomenal job with it. But thank you. I've invited him and a few other folks in the industry to weigh in. John, there's a place for you too with what you do to be a professor and just weigh in and create some modules where you drop some knowledge and give some folks some tips and pointers. And so Gutter School's building out rapidly, and that's all online, on-demand learning.
I'd be honored. Just let me know when.
Awesome. John, please, I would love to have you as part of that. And, co-brand Mr. Pipeline throughout,
Cool.
So where does Mr. Pipeline go from here, by the way? Where are you taking that business? And we're getting you onto the app side. Are we going to start doing stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. For us, we're working on building like an all-in-one seamless CRM platform behind the scenes, kind of like what you did on your side. Just a little bit different because it's more email marketing, more text marketing, stuff like that.
Sure.
So we're really just trying to over-deliver on the value to our clients. We've always been good at innovation, but over the last couple of years, it's just the puck is skating very fast, is moving very fast. So I've got my whole team charging. I have somebody who's in charge of innovation. That's basically spearheading what's working in industries, what's not, and figuring out how we can apply it to the home service business. So we've got our hands full, but the reality is it's tech driven and it's all encompassing.